Ambassador Veltarin's delicate respiratory membranes fluttered with anxiety as she reviewed the humanitarian aid request for the 7th time. The Kythera colony on Serenity Prime was facing complete ecological collapse after a solar flare had disrupted their atmospheric processes. Without immediate assistance, 3 million beings would suffocate within 10 standard cycles. The Galactic Aid Consortium had responded predictably. The Altrurians offered medical supplies. The Etherians provided quantum healing technologies, and the Machine Collective pledged computational resources for atmospheric modeling. Standard civilized assistance from advanced species who had evolved beyond the primitive concept of violence. Then Earth had responded. "Ma'am," her aide whispered, his bioluminescent patches pulsing nervous blue. "The human delegation has arrived at the orbital platform." Veltarin nodded, her 6 arms adjusting her ceremonial robes. Humanity was the newest member of the consortium, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 2 centuries ago. Their homeworld was classified as a Class XII hazard zone, what the database diplomatically termed a high-stress, evolutionary environment. Most species simply called it a death world. But humans had proven surprisingly capable at humanitarian work. They possessed an unusual ability to function in dangerous conditions and seemed to thrive on solving impossible problems. Exactly what the Kythera situation required. The transport bay doors hissed open, and Veltarin felt her confidence evaporate. The humans didn't disembark. They deployed. First came the advanced scouts humans in powered armor that looked more suited for planetary assault than relief work. Their leader, a woman whose insignia identified her as Colonel Sarah Reese, surveyed the docking bay with eyes that catalogued every exit, every potential threat, every tactical advantage. Behind her came the medical team, but instead of the expected healers in flowing robes, these humans carried equipment that could serve dual purposes as surgical tools or combat implements. Their leader, Dr. Marcus Webb, wore what appeared to be armored medical gear and carried a field kit that contained both trauma supplies and enough pharmaceutical resources to either heal or incapacitate an entire city. Ambassador Veltarin, Colonel Reese approached with measured steps, her hand never straying far from what the translation protocols identified as a multi-phase energy projector, essentially a weapon that could function as anything from a cutting tool to a battlefield cannon. Earth Medical Intervention Corps, reporting for humanitarian duty. "Colonel," Veltarin managed, trying not to stare at the arsenal of equipment being unloaded behind them. "We appreciate your rapid response, but perhaps there's been a misunderstanding. This is a humanitarian mission, not a military operation." Dr. Webb stepped forward, his scanner already analyzing the station's atmospheric composition. "Ma'am, on Earth, we learned long ago that humanitarian crises and security threats are often the same thing. When people are dying, situations get complicated fast. But the Kythera are a peaceful species. There's no indication of any hostile forces." "No indicated hostile forces yet," Colonel Reese corrected. "Our intelligence suggests otherwise." Veltarin's membranes went rigid. "What intelligence?" Dr. Webb's scanner beeped ominously. "Ambassador, when did you last update your atmospheric readings from Serenity Prime?" "This morning. The oxygen levels are dropping steadily due to processor failure." "That's not processor failure," Colonel Reese interrupted, pulling up a holographic display. "Our deep scan analysis shows deliberately introduced atmospheric toxins. Someone is systematically poisoning the Kythera." The revelation hit Veltarin like a neural shock. "That's impossible. The sector has been peaceful for centuries." "Ma'am," one of the human technicians reported, "we're detecting cloaked vessels in the outer system. Configuration suggests hegemony raiders." Colonel Reese's expression hardened. "Pirates. They're waiting for the population to die off so they can claim the planet's mineral rights without the messy business of negotiation. Veltarine felt her worldview crumbling. The Galactic Aid Consortium operated on the assumption that truly advanced civilizations had evolved beyond deliberately causing suffering. It was one of the fundamental principles of membership. But why didn't our sensors detect any of this? Was already preparing his medical teams for deployment. Because you were looking for natural disasters, not warfare. Your species evolved on paradise worlds, where the biggest threat was mild weather variations. You don't think like predators. And you do? Colonel Reese's smile was sharp. Ambassador, humans evolved on a planet where everything, the weather, the geology, the biology, the chemistry, was actively trying to kill us every single day for 4 billion years. We learned to assume the worst and prepare for everything. Within hours, the human response had transformed from humanitarian aid to military intervention. Their medical teams deployed to Serenity Prime in armored transports, while their combat units engaged the cloaked raider fleet. The same equipment that had seemed excessive for relief work proved perfectly suited for fighting off pirates, while simultaneously treating poisoned civilians. Dr. Webb's medical team didn't just counteract the atmospheric toxins, they reverse-engineered them to create targeted biological weapons that disabled the raiders without causing permanent harm. Colonel Reese's security forces didn't just protect the aid operation, they systematically dismantled the entire piracy network. As the crisis wound down and the Kithara breathing apparatus registered normal atmospheric levels, Veltarine found herself reviewing the after-action reports with a mixture of gratitude and unease. Ambassador, Colonel Reese said as her teams prepared to depart, with respect, your consortium needs to update its threat assessment protocols. The galaxy isn't as safe as you think it is. But surely most civilized species have evolved beyond such aggressive tendencies? Dr. Webb laughed, not unkindly. Ma'am, we didn't evolve beyond aggression. We learned to channel it into protecting people who can't protect themselves. There's a difference. As the human ships departed, Veltarine realized that the consortium had requested humanitarian aid and received something far more valuable, a reminder that sometimes, when civilized beings called for help, what they really needed were barbarians who cared enough to fight for them. The humans hadn't misunderstood the mission. They had understood it better than anyone else.